And I'm Ella, and this is our dorm tour
for Lipscomb in the Hill community at UGA.
As previous seniors in high school who were on the search for a dorm and what in the world we were going to do, what was in it, we wanted to share our room with everybody else so they can get an insight of what it looks like to live in one of the dorms here at UGA. What is up, future Bulldogs? This is Ella, and I am an avian biologist here at the University of Georgia, which, heads up, is why you will see so much bird stuff on my side of the room. As someone who's been in the position of being a senior in high school and never living in a dorm before, it definitely was a transition, but I can tell you and reassure you that it's not as bad as what it actually makes seem. And one of the funnest things you actually can do here is make your dorm feel like home for the year you are here. That being said, you do not have to follow our dorm down to a T. It's just a guidance for you. And some of the things that I wish that I was told or shown in some of the other videos that I was watching when I was trying to decide what I wanted my room to be or what furniture I needed. So it's just pointing you maybe to the right direction. Okay, so starting off, this is my desk on my side of the room. Some of the things that I've included is I have my little pictures on this side, as well as my weekly calendar that I use for my reminders of what I have to do for that day. One good thing to note about this is magnetic, and so everything is hung with a magnet. Next is the back. So even though you do see that I have a corkboard with some Disney pins and some other random stuff back there, it is actually fully a corkboard. So just to kind of demonstrate, right here is just a little bird pin. I don't know my bird stuff, and you can just stick it anywhere and pin it. However, I like the aesthetics, and so I ended up adding just a neutral wallpaper and then putting a corkboard up there for just decoration. Next is what I actually have on my desk. So starting from the complete corner is the little book container that I have that has some of my journals and some of my workbooks that I have. Next is the little shelving unit that I have. So this is from Amazon, and the great thing about this is you can move it however you want. You can completely switch up how the shelves stack, but this is how I wanted it in order to have some like personalized stuff. Little containers right here for anything you want, my lamp, and then of course my fish. Shout out Dooley. In which all of this is plugged in behind the extension cord that runs behind this tank, and it's stored back there. And it also connects up there to the lights. I also up here have a little strip so I can hang things over there. Now, along with the shelves that are down here, you will have 7 in total, in which I'll show you a couple of what mine look like. This is the top one. We have added these little storage containers to it. This is all like my makeup and skincare products. Next is this bigger drawer. I have these bins in here, got from Hobby Lobby, all of which are different shapes and sizes. This is more of like the arts and like the school supplies. Next is, once again, kind of the art supplies. It's a mix between these bins that I got from Hobby Lobby and just bins I got from Amazon. This was the last one I'm going to show on my side. Once again, just storage. The main thing I would tell people is to get bins to have everything organized. One of the things that I questioned as an upcoming freshman is what the chairs look like. At least in Lipscomb, we do have our rolly chairs that raise in height and do lower. And sometimes I add a cushion there, sometimes I don't. I honestly think the chairs are pretty comfortable and don't know if you would really need one. Yeah. Along with this, we have a full-length mirror right here, and then you can put stuff up here as well, just so me and my roommate can both come up and see what we look like in a full-length mirror rather than just the one mirror that we do have. The next thing on this side is these other storage units that we have. I will show you. And these just slide. Once again, these are magnetic. And then once I slide it, you can kind of see. They have 6, 3 for each roommate. This is my roommate's side. And it's really easy to get up to. I would request a step stool if anybody's about my height. I am 5'4", which will be greatly needed later on. Okay, so next is my bed and what's underneath it, both on my side. My bed, unlike my roommate's, is lofted, and so it's the complete height that you can get to it. You can kind of see in comparison to where I am to my bed. So with that, this is the top of my bed. My bedspread and the sheet that's on top of it is actually a queen size, and it actually comes under here and tucks underneath it. My roommate has the twin, and she'll show you that. In my opinion, I liked having a queen size because it does not come up. However, there's pros to it, but the cons is it is a pain to try to get off and wash. Another thing that is on my bed is these little steps. One of the things that I do wish is I added 4, one to the bottom and not just the 3, but it just helps me get up there and get some like footing when I'm trying to lift myself up here with how high it is, rather than kind of what Paula has when you're having this itty bitty little thing to step on. I've done both, and I do recommend the steps. It is one of the things that I would recommend for any college student who is trying to get up into a lofted bed. Next is what I kind of have in this area underneath my bed and on my bed. So I ended up getting this from Target and have these bins, all of which some of them have clothes in it of mine, some of them have food that both me and my roommate do share. My laundry stuff is down there. In these ones, I actually have containers for the food just to save space. And ended up not putting on the backing to this side because of the fact that it's easier for me to grab on both sides if I needed something. Next is what I have on the end of my bed. It just have this hook. It has 3 on top and 3 on bottom, which I hang my jacket, my bathrobe, the book bag, umbrellas, lanyards, anything like that. On both sides of my bed as well, I have 2 of these little bedside caddies. This one on this side I always use for like my chargers. I do have my Woozu fan remote in there, which is up there, which is something we also do recommend, is having your Woozu fans on top so you can actually feel it. My extension cord goes around the back and it connects here to where it connects down there to my fish tank, as well as the lights up top that we hung, just to again make it more homey. Next, I have this rolly cart, which has all of my bath stuff, my hair stuff, and there's where I stored all of Dooley's fish stuff, as well as these little containers in there, which I scrapbook and just kind of keep to the side so it's not anywhere else. So these specific tables, you can pull out if you need, because it is on the side of my couch. It is a lot harder for me to pull out. However, if I'm sitting here, I will use it. It does plug in and we have outlets to it, so we have more outlets than just what's behind here. Along with this, I have this shelving unit from TJ Maxx, which has all of like more of my cooking stuff. We have right there is our little spinny thing that has all of our like cleaning stuff. Behind it's our cleaning brushes, our coasters, just some decoration, coffee cups that can stack, which again, height's really going to be your friend in this, and if you can get anything that's tall like that, I do recommend. Down here I have all my cups. You are going to need a lot of water for how hilly UGA is. A lamp so we can see down here. And then we have some of the more bowls. I just have my glass bowls, some plastic containers to store stuff, dish towels. I do have the glass bowls for the microwave that's on the other side of the dorm. Now the last thing that is on my side of the room is the sink and what we kind of call our like bathroom. This is kind of our setup. Not every dorm at UGA has a sink. Some have their own bathrooms, some have just sinks, some have neither and just community bathrooms. As someone who does have a community shower and bathroom, I promise it's actually not that bad. But do recommend having a sink if you can get it. On terms with our shelving units on both sides of the sink, we just keep our toiletries in it. The ones that we use most constantly are on top, and then both of these doors just swing out and just have more storage space for you. Next, we did add this. This is just stuck onto the sink, and underneath it, we do have some cleaning supplies on a little sink rack, and then just covers it up to make it all nice and pretty. This right here, to me, was a lifesaver, which just kind of folds out, little sink coverage, so you can have this surface area. Next thing that I think is important is this is actually just a little command strip shelving, which we put our toothbrush on, and you can put whatever you want on it, but that's what we use for. One of the other things worth noting is behind here is actually a medicine cabinet. You can store your stuff. Back here, we kind of use this as our storage for our vacuum and our broom. We use my table that was supposed to go out in front of you as our drying rack after we did dishes. And then we also ended up adding this down here where we just put down a drying mat and then put our shower shoes on it, and then added the rug. One of the last things I did want to add is you will have an outlet back here, and because of how the room is set up and you have this wall kind of coming out, you will end up having space back here. Now, it is up to you how you fit your couch or how big your couch is. We ended up pulling up it just a little bit to have some storage back here, which is covered by the blanket. One of the other things you can do, which we thought about, is adding a little behind table that you can put, but it's completely up to personal preference.
Hi everyone, my name is Paula, and I am a linguistics and cognitive science double major here at UGA. And coming in as a freshman, one of the main things for me was location and where I would be staying on campus, because you can do all the tours at UGA and all of that, but you don't really know what it's like to actually be living here. So one of the best things here about Lipscomb, or being in the Hill community, is its central location on campus. So at least for Lipscomb, we are very close to Bolton. So you can see through the tree line that Bolton is basically right down there. It's less than a minute walk. You can take this sidewalk there. And it's perfect for when it's early morning 8 a.m.s or when it's close to 9 or 10 o'clock to just walk over there in rain or sunshine and get food. And then with that, you have different dining plan options. So me and Ella both have the all access 7-day plan, but there's also swipes. So if you prefer to eat out, or if you know you're gonna be going home pretty often, the swipes may be better. But for us, since we're really close to Bolton or we're just on campus most of the time, the all access plan is the best. So with that all being said, this is my side of the room and my desk. So I'm next to the window, and I have the AC right next to me. And I know some of the Hill dorms, the AC is either right next to the window or it's above the door. But Lipscomb, I think most of them are down here. But this is my side, how I decorated it. I still have the same number of desk storage units, but I have my radio, my mirror, and it lights up too. So especially in the morning when it's really dark, that's perfect. And then I have a bunch of hanging stuff. And these are all little things from the games. I just collected them. And then Ella let me use one of her little storage things to have all this. And I also have these little filing storage units, whatever they're called, for my notebook, so I can change them out real quick. So next is the closet. So we each have our own closet. And Ella got these little, they're curtains, and these little hooks, because they don't come with hooks. So make sure if you're wanting to cover your closet, that you do that. And then in mine, I have this hanging, shoe shelf thing. And it goes about pretty much the length of the closet, but I also had a bunch of space down here for my boots, or when it was colder, winter shoes. And then I also have storage for socks and all that. And then another thing is, this is like my emergency medicine cabinet, which I recommend coming in because you will probably get sick and you don't want to be having to run to Target to get cold medicine. So make sure you get that. And then it has a pretty good amount of storage up top for hanging clothes. And then I just have my hamper down here.
So in my closet, I ended up having these little magnetics that just kind of stick. We can actually show.
Yes, demonstration.
Just kind of demonstration. Just stick. I had that in the back. I have multiple in the back of them in order to hang my belts, hang my purses, anything like that. Next thing in my closet, instead of having your hanging, because I have a lot of clothes, I have a little shelving unit at the bottom that has these, which lifts up, and then you can just put a shoe on the bottom and shoe on top, which helps again with height, which is one of the things I would recommend is use your height. Yeah.
So next I'm going to talk about my bed, which is perfect because as a college student, we're always tired because we're studying and being good students. Okay, but like Ella mentioned, my bed is not lofted all the way because I'm a bit shorter. I'm about 5 feet. So I didn't want to have to be climbing up the bed, which was something I knew coming into it because I've seen a bunch of people loft their beds, which is great for storage. But as someone who's pretty short, I did not want to have to do that. So because my bed is shorter and I didn't want to use these rungs to climb up onto the bed, the alternative was getting an ottoman. So me and Ella both have an ottoman, and what's great about them is that they also work as storage. So I have my Georgia sweatshirt in there, and I also have some other stuff like craft stuff in there. Just, it's the perfect spot for that. But what I do is I just jump up off of it into the bed, which is kind of crazy, but it works. So then next, I just have a bunch of pillows, and I will show in a second that because this wall here and the air conditioner, there's kind of a gap over there. So I use a bunch of these pillows to like fill the gap so it doesn't feel as like I'm gonna fall off. But we also have these things which are perfect because I'm right next to the window and we don't want any accidents to happen, which have happened to other people. And then underneath, it's really important because my bed is lower and I'm constantly going under here, is these pool noodles, which I got at Lowe's, and they were cut like 6 feet and they were already cut in the middle to wrap around. And we just like duct tape them around, which is perfect because I'm constantly going under the bed. And then under the bed, I have a bunch of my clothes and food and stuff, but here we have like our microwave and the fridge, and it's just a mini fridge because you can't have like a full-size one. But under here, I zip tied my outlet to these like wire things so we can have the fridge and all my other chargers under here. And then I also have my storage. So in these, there's just clothes and then like towels and all that, and then food. And then the best part is my coffee cart. So like I have my extension cord over here, I just roll this cart over there and just plug it in. So I have all my mugs and coffee, of course. And then this cart is just for storage with like cleaning supplies. I have my lunchbox in there because I don't have time in between class to go to the dining hall, so I just use that. So it's just all storage. So then something else that's different about if you're trying to choose what side of the room you would prefer is the side closest to the door has outlets on the wall, and they also have like internet and the table TV connectors. So if you're into gaming, or like if you want a TV in your room, you would probably want it on the right side of the room, or the side closest to the door. But if you look at my side, which is the closest to the window, it's on the back wall. So what I did is, since this top is also magnetic, I used magnetic hooks, and I like had my extension cord go all the way around to here, so that I could plug in my Wuzu fan because I need the cold air hitting me. I probably could have put it in this one, but since this one has different levels and the decorations are cuter for this one worked. So just keep that in mind if you're like into gaming or if you don't really care. on which side of the room you would prefer.
One last thing I do want to add before we finish is how exactly we hung our pictures throughout our room, kind of everywhere. How we did it, because you actually are not supposed to put holes in the wall. I know that's not necessarily a rule for all colleges or all dorms, but for ours you cannot. So what I'm going to say is command strips are going to be your best friend, but not just any command strips. What we use is little Velcro strips that stick to the wall and then stick to this. So this can actually, you can kind of hear it, come on and off. I ain't gonna take it all off because it would be kind of weird to put back on, but that's how we hung everything. I mean, some of these are more heavy duty command strips. Same thing with our names. Our names are hung by command strips up top, or command strips to hang our cords. Okay, and that is our dorm tour. Yeah, she's over there doing homework because we're good college kids. So like I said, you do not have to follow any of this to a T. This is just kind of that guidance that I do wish that I would have had coming in, of some of the more like little details that most people don't think about until you're trying to move in. You're like, what kind of storage containers do I get? That being said, I will be adding some photos at the end of this video in order to help out with some of the things that we got from both online and some of the stores that we ended up stopping by. So yeah, good luck on your future endeavors here at UGA or wherever life may take you.
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!